Good morning. Perhaps you remember weeks ago now that we stopped in front of a maple tree and saw one single acorn left on a wintry, leafless tree. And today I'm walking in front of the same tree, and of course, this is summer now, so it's in full swing. And if you look carefully, here you see an acorn, and here you see tiny little acorns. And what strikes me, because we already know the story, right? We've been through a season with this tree. We know that this tree will blossom, and eventually the leaves will change colors and will move into winter again. It will drop its leaves and go through another cycle. But when we see those acorns, for me, it's like, oh my goodness, look at the potential, all the potential that is there in those tiny unformed acorns. And I'm sure you've heard it before in your life. I know I have. That opportunity was full of potential. This person was full of potential. If only you knew your potential. And if we think about that for a minute, especially in light of the tree, that beautiful tree behind us, what does that really mean? If a situation or a person is full of potential, right, then that means that there is something within them that has not yet seen the light. There is a seed, there is a gift, there is a hope or a dream that still is in the potential stage. It hasn't fully manifested yet. It hasn't shown itself yet. It hasn't grown to where we can actually see it. We just know the potential. And if we think about our relationship with the divine, we can ask ourselves the same question. What is the potential of that relationship? What is the hope for that relationship? What is the tiny seed within us and within that relationship, that friendship with God, that hasn't fully come to fruition yet, that hasn't fully shown itself yet? There's so much anticipation in that thought for me. There's excitement in that thought for me. So often we feel like we've learned all there is to know about God. We've done our reading, we go to church, we have listened to wise speakers. Maybe we follow things online that reinforce our knowledge of God. And the other day we talked about heart knowledge versus head knowledge. So often in my teaching experience, mature adults have come to me, mature meaning later in life, and been surprised that the relationship with God is not more intimate, is not more striking or supportive of their daily living. They tell me that we thought it would just happen, that as we grow older, we would grow closer to God. It would just be as normal as growing taller or our hair growing longer. It would just happen to us. But then we'd say that's a pretty passive approach to a relationship with God. There's almost no other relationship in the world that we have that just happens. We have to put time and effort into that relationship, or at least be present. So for me, when I think about the potential of my relationship with God, or the potential of your relationship with God, that's what gets me really full of fire and enthusiasm. Really, that's what I feel like I'm spending my life doing, is trying to support the potential of a divine relationship in your life. What are you doing? How are you exploring the potential, what can be, what isn't yet, in your relationship with God? And don't make it hard work. Don't let it give you a headache or cause you to break out into a sweat or your heart beating faster. Because remember, this is God's work. All you have to do is be present. We have to shut out the sounds and noise and buzz around us so that we can hear, so that we can see, so that we can know what, like that tiny little acorn, is coming to life within us. Sometimes it starts in isolation. Sometimes it starts as a result of grief and loss. What we have is no longer enough. So we look to the potential of something else. It's going to be different for every one of us. Don't underestimate what God's doing in your life. Remember, don't compare. Sit, walk, listen, and allow the potential of your relationship, which has its fruits and roots in eternity, right? Allow it to begin to manifest in your life. And ask God for help. God, I don't know how to do this. Help me. That's such a legitimate prayer. Blessings.